Have you ever felt that you just can't get someone out of your head? Maybe it happens just before you fall asleep, when everything seems calm. Everything except your mind. That person comes to your thoughts uninvited again and again, as if their presence were somehow bound to yours in a way you still don't understand. They might not even be someone you see every day, but there they are, invading your moments of silence, your spaces for reflection. And you ask yourself, why? Why does this person, of all the people I know, keep appearing in my mind? The truth is, this isn't mere coincidence, nor a simple whim of your subconscious. These recurring thoughts have a deeper meaning, one that goes far beyond what your rational mind could explain. If you stay with me until the end of this video, I promise you'll understand the true spiritual significance of constantly thinking about someone. Not only will you decipher what might be stirring within you, but you'll also discover how these mental connections can be guided by energies larger than the physical, larger than the everyday. Can you imagine what might happen if you learn to understand the hidden message behind those thoughts? The answer will surprise you. Before diving straight into the topic, I want you, for a moment, to think of that person you can't shake from your mind. Close your eyes for a second and visualize them. Perhaps there's something else even more inexplicable at play. What you're feeling right now is crucial because our emotions are one of the channels through which the universe speaks to us. But what does the universe want to tell us when it sends us someone in this way? When a person is constantly present in our thoughts? To better understand this, I want to share a story. It was a gray autumn afternoon, the wind gently rustling through the trees and leaves drifting down as though time itself were slowing. Anna, a 35-year-old woman, sat in a cafe, watching people walk by in a daze. She had been feeling restless for weeks, as if something were missing from her life. Not a lack of resources or of love, but something deeper, something she couldn't even put into words. Yet there was one constant in her thoughts: an old friend from college, someone she hadn't spoken to in years, who suddenly she could not stop thinking about. At first, Anna tried to ignore it. She thought it was just a coincidence, her mind playing with past memories. But the thoughts persisted every single day, no matter what she was doing. The image of her friend kept returning. There was something about him that unsettled her, as if there were unfinished business between them, though she couldn't remember exactly what. Finally, one night, as she tried to fall asleep, Anna had a revelation. These thoughts weren't just hers, they were a signal. A message from the universe guiding her towards something she still didn't fully understand. And that is how the universe works. Often the people we cannot stop thinking about are not there by chance. They are there because there is something we need to learn from them, something our souls must comprehend. It could be that this person is destined to play an important role in your life, or perhaps they already have. But you haven't closed the cycle properly on a spiritual level. All our connections, every person who enters our life, has a purpose. And when someone occupies so much space in our mind and essence, we must ask ourselves, what is the universe trying to tell me? On the spiritual plane, everything is connected. Each thought, each feeling, each person appearing in our life has meaning and purpose. And these kinds of connections, where we think constantly about someone, are especially powerful. They are guided by energies beyond what we can see or touch. Perhaps that person is experiencing something similar. Maybe both of you are connected on an energetic level invisible to the naked eye. But before diving deeper into this, I want to talk about something fundamental: the law of attraction. The law of attraction teaches us that what we focus our attention on, what we think about intensely, tends to manifest in our reality. In other words, our thoughts are a form of energy, and that energy has the power to attract to us people, situations, and experiences in tune with our vibrations. If you think constantly about someone, that energy might be drawing that person towards you, whether in the physical or spiritual plane. Yet here is where things get interesting. Thinking about someone doesn't always mean you should reach out to them or pursue a relationship. Sometimes, those who occupy our thoughts are there to show us something about ourselves, to reflect a part of our life we haven't yet worked through or fully understood. That person may represent an aspect of you are denying, or perhaps they signal unfinished business you need to resolve. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a mirror. Each person you think about is a reflection of something you carry within. Thinking constantly about someone can be an invitation to look inside yourself, to reflect on what that person is teaching you. Ask yourself, what is this person showing me about myself? Why do they appear in my thoughts again and again? What lesson or message is the universe sending me through this constant thought? Many spiritual traditions speak of soulmates or kindred souls, people with whom we share a deep spiritual connection, one that transcends time and space. You may have met them in past lives, or you are destined to cross paths in this life to fulfill a joint mission. Sometimes these individuals appear in our thoughts because our souls are seeking reunion. There's something we need to learn or experience together. Other times they are present to teach us a crucial lesson, one that may be painful but necessary for our growth. But this is where deeper reflection comes in. How do you distinguish whether thinking constantly about someone is a sign from the universe or simply an unresolved emotional need? It's important to learn to differentiate what comes from the soul and what arises from the ego. The ego often seeks control, external validation, while the soul seeks evolution, growth, genuine connection. When you find yourself thinking about someone incessantly, ask yourself, does this thought bring me peace or unease? Do I feel there is something I need to learn from this person? Or is it simply a desire to fill an emotional void? Personal and spiritual development is a journey full of signs, and those signs often come through the people who appear in our lives, whether physically or mentally. Thinking constantly about someone is an opportunity to deepen your own growth. It's a chance to ask yourself questions you may have never asked before. What am I truly seeking in this person? Which part of me needs healing or understanding? By asking these questions, you give yourself space to explore not only your relationship with them, but also your relationship with yourself. And in this process of reflection, it's vital to remember that the universe is always speaking to us. Every thought, every emotion, every person who appears in your mind is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself and your spiritual path. If that person is constantly in your thoughts, don't ignore it. Reflect, meditate, listen to what your soul and the universe are trying to tell you. At this point, you may be wondering, what should I do if I can't stop thinking about someone? The first thing I would say is, don't rush to action. Sometimes simply acknowledging and accepting that this person occupies space in your mind is enough for the message to reveal itself. You can meditate on it, journal about it, or even just observe your thoughts without judgment. Often, the mere act of being present with your thoughts gives you the clarity you need. But if you feel there is something you need to say or do in relation to that person, do so from a place of calm and clarity. Don't act on impulse. Don't let the ego guide you. Remember that the purpose of these connections is always growth and evolution. If you decide to reach out, do it with an open heart, with the intention to learn and share, not to impose or control. And if you choose not to act, that's fine too. Sometimes simply recognizing the spiritual significance of thinking about someone is enough. You can release those thoughts with gratitude, knowing you have learned what you needed to learn. Because at the end of the day, the universe is always working in our favor, guiding us toward the people and experiences we need for our spiritual growth. Now I want you to think again about that person who's been on your mind. What do you feel now? Is there more clarity? If this video has helped you understand better what you're experiencing, I would love for you to leave a comment below sharing your experience. Have you ever thought constantly about someone and then realized there was a deeper meaning behind those thoughts? I'm sure your story can help others going through the same thing. Before I say goodbye, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, we talk about spirituality, personal development, the laws of the universe, and how we can apply all of this to live a more fulfilling, conscious life. If this subject has resonated with you, if you feel you're on a path of growth and discovery, subscribe so we can continue exploring together. Remember, the connections we feel are not coincidences. Everything has a purpose. And when we start paying attention to these signs, we discover that life is always guiding us towards something greater. I'll see you in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We're in this journey together, and each step we take brings us closer to understanding who we are and what our purpose is in this vast universe. If you made it all the way here, congratulations. You are among the few who have the capacity for such focused attention. To let me know you got this far, comment "I am awake," and I will greet you personally in the comments. Until next time.